Jamaica, I do not know how to feel about this one. The fact that Turkey just dropped $500,000 to recruit Jamaican Olympic medalists, and some of them have actually said yes.
Now, it's been said that two of Jamaica's athletes have switched allegiance to Turkey. These two athletes are now representing Turkey when the Olympic comes up. And you can't tree wrong them. Because if you hear the deal, it's crazy. And it's a lot of money where Jamaica would have never give them.
Have you ever loved something so deeply, so passionately, but that love couldn't feed you, clothe you, or even secure your future? That is the heartbreaking reality facing many Jamaican athletes today. They love their country, they love the sport, they love the flag they once proudly represented. But love, unfortunately, doesn't pay the bills. This video is about a growing phenomenon. Jamaican athletes switching, nationalities to represent other countries like, let's say, Turkey, US, in exchange for financial security. It's not about betrayal. It's about survival. It's about the cold, hard truth that loyalty, while noble, can't put food on the table. Imagine dedicating your youth, your energy, your soul to becoming the best in your sport, only to find out that your nation, the one you ran for, jumped for, bled for, pays you little to nothing in return. That's not just unfair, it's unsustainable, and yet it's happening over and over again. These athletes aren't greedy. They are not sellouts. They are not turning their backs on Jamaica because they want luxury. They are doing it because they want a future, because there is life after track. And they need to make the most of the short career window they have. Well, on this particular video, we are going to explore why this is happening. We are going to talk about what this says about the global sports economy, and we are also going to confront the uncomfortable question: are we forcing athletes to choose between loyalty and livelihood? So before anyone rushes to judge, before anyone cries disloyalty, let's take a closer look at the system that leaves these athletes with no other choice. Let's talk about the hard truth. Let's react to what's really happening. Well, stay with me and also drop a comment. Let me know what you think. Yeah.
Jamaica, I do not know how to feel about this one. The fact that Turkey just dropped $500,000 to recruit Jamaican Olympic medalists, and some of them have actually said yes. They are going to become Turkish citizens and they are going to compete on behalf of Turkey because of this financial offer that Turkey has made them. This is not only the $500,000 sign-on bonus, but it also is monthly income to cover their living expenses. Before we get into our feelings, let's talk about the facts. Now, Turkey did not make this blanket offer to all Jamaican athletes. It only made it to our field Olympian medalists. So when you think about our discus thrower, or long jumper, our shot put thrower, and Roger and Rajendra both have already accepted. Why would they make the offer only to our field event Olympians and not to our sprinters? But the truth is, our sprinters get a lot more attention from both the government in terms of funding, endorsements, and so they tend to be more loyal to running for Jamaica. The field event athletes, I think, have historically always felt like the red-haired stepchild. They don't get enough attention, opportunity, endorsements. And so Turkey has been very strategic in going after them because they may be easier to flip with this financial incentive, and it has worked. Also, Turkey has targeted the field event Olympians. Those events tend to be a little less competitive, and so it will be easier for Turkey to medal with our Olympians competing on their behalf. For them, they want to increase their medal count. Word on the street is, though, that Turkey is not going to stop there, and that they also have their eyes on a couple of our 4x100 Olympian medalists. With the 2028 Olympics coming up in Los Angeles, Turkey is being very bullish about their Olympic strategy by proactively recruiting and putting a heavy financial investment behind these athletes. But it's not only about what the athletes are going to get. Turkey also stands to benefit. Now, if our athletes medal and bring a lot of attention to Turkey, they tend to gain from having a more visible global brand, which can in turn result in increased tourism and increase attention to Turkey as potentially a location for more global events. It also helps them from a sponsorship and a branding perspective. Now, if our Jamaican athletes go there and then become endorsed by Turkish brands, elevate the visibility of those brands on the global stage, then that will also drive greater attention and visibility to Turkish brands, i.e. increase business, increase economic activity. Also, our athletes can take everything they know, all the training, all the tips and the tricks, take it to Turkey and teach them and develop their local athletic community and up-and-coming talent. In some ways, as a Jamaican, I think our natural reaction will be to feel as if these athletes are selling out, that they should remain loyal to their country. But on the flip side, if they're not getting the support, if they're not getting the financial incentives for them to make a living and do this successfully, then can we really blame them if they switch?
I know most of y'all read the news, see the little clips them about the Jamaican athletes who switched to Turkey. And ever so often you guys ask me my take. And hey, what's good, man? Some of them I reply to, some of them I just ignore. But may I shed my light on this one a little, just because you guys have been really asking me about it. So I'll ask you this question. Why do some of y'all friends, parents, uncle, auntie come to America and join the army? Is it because them just love go war? No. Them doing it for opportunities. Them doing it for a better way. Because at the end of the day, like, why would you get up and fight for a country that you never born? You understand? That's the same concept what me I go say with the athletes them. Switching. You understand? For a better way. Yes, they're like soldiers running for a country that they never born, but at the end of the day, we all want financial gain out of our talents. It makes no sense me I run or me I do something and me not get paid. It's only unfair, it's always unfair to athletes when people want you to do good for them but not to do good for yourself. Because these athletes switching are no difference than you going to work somewhere for a better pay. And the place where you come from give you everything. I understand that, but at the end of the day, everybody wants financial gain, because when track and field done, or when sports done, as much as you want something to show that you did it, you still want to make sure so you earn so you can move into the next part of life. So these athletes switching to Turkey, me not bash them. I encourage athletes to go out there and seek better opportunities for yourself, because at the end of the day, sports is a short time span, and then some sports are not as lucrative as some sports, and then some events are not even as lucrative as some events. You get me? And I'm gonna tell you the reason why Jamaicans are full vexed. Because it's not the first Jamaicans are switching to Turkey. In 2016 Olympics, we had two guys who represent Turkey and one guy represent Bahrain. You understand? One of them used to go JC, big JC athlete, and one of them used to go Ulmaz. And them two men switched to Turkey. But you guys never noticed, no one never noticed, because these guys weren't medal, not contenders, These guys weren't Olympic or world champ medalists. These guys were what you consider some regular man who run tracks. So, I'm telling you guys, the floodgate open, and more athletes are going to leverage their talent for financial gain. Because where we are from, loyalty don't really bring you far. You understand? Because in my aspect of when I say that, I don't mean say you can't be loyal. But what I say is, if you have your talent, you can't confuse talent and tell a man to be loyal with him talent if him not eat food for him family. So yeah, that's my
Now, let's start with the reality on the ground. Track and field athletes in Jamaica are receiving little to no compensation for representing their nation. You heard that right, guys. Little or nothing. This is not just a footnote, it's a crisis. How can a country that consistently produces world-class sprinters and track legends not have a system in place to support its talent? Athletes describe squeezing every bit of whatever money they can find just to survive. No guaranteed salary, no comprehensive benefits, no long-term security. Meanwhile, countries like Turkey are offering what some call crazy deals: contracts, housing, stipends, access to better facilities, and long-term support. Imagine being offered that after years of competing for free, after years of being a national hero with an empty pocket. Would you say no? Even you watching this, would you say no? One Olympic silver medalist said it best: loyalty doesn't pay the bills. I love my country, but I need to get paid. That is what some of them are saying. Let that sink in. This isn't just about one or two athletes. It's a trend. More and more Jamaican athletes are switching nationalities. Marlin did it, others have followed, and many more are quietly considering it. And we can't blame them, because this isn't about abandoning their culture. It's about building a life. It's about supporting their families. It's about making their limited time in athletics count. There's a deeper issue here, though. Why are we still expecting athletes to sacrifice their lives for our flag while we give them no financial protection in return? Patriotism shouldn't be poverty. The current model in track and field is broken. It glorifies sacrifice while ignoring survival. It celebrates the medals while ignoring the medical bills. And then there is the public. We love to celebrate athletes when they win. We flood them with, likes, cheers, parades. But when it comes to their finances, crickets. A post about a track victory gets thousands of likes. A post about financial struggle, barely a whisper. Until we change that, the exodus will continue. We will keep losing athletes to countries that can really afford them. Now, let's get brutally honest. What we are seeing is not betrayal. Some of you might think these people are betraying their country. It's not. It's adaptation. And it's time we redefine what loyalty really means in the world of sports. For decades, athletes have been held hostage by nationalism. They are expected to give everything for the country. In return, what do they get? Glory, a name in the newspaper, a handshake from the Minister of Sport. Meanwhile, their rent is late, their groceries are sparse, their kids need shoes, their dreams are hanging by a thread. And yet, when they make a logical decision to secure their future, to sign with a country that sees their value, they are being branded as unpatriotic. It's time we stop romanticizing struggle. Athletes are professionals. They deserve professional treatment. We would never tell a teacher, a nurse, or a lawyer to work for free because they love their community or their country. You wouldn't ask a doctor to stay loyal to a hospital that doesn't pay them. So why do we expect athletes to, be martyrs? Let me be clear, guys. The problem isn't athletes, it's the system. And that system is forcing athletes into impossible choices. We shouldn't be, surprised that Turkey and other countries like the US are swooping in with lucrative offers. They understand the value of talent. They understand what investment means. They understand that you don't build a winning team on pride alone. You build it with resources, infrastructure, and respect. If Jamaica wants to keep its talent, it needs to, evolve. It's not enough to produce great athletes. You have to retain them. You have to nurture them beyond the podium. You have to ensure they have a future after, fame fades. Because here's the truth. There is life after track. There are medical bills, there are children, there is aging, And if you're not paying attention to that part of an athlete's journey, you are setting them up for failure. Some people argue, but we don't have the money. But is that entirely true? Track and field generates revenue. Sponsorships, ticket sales, tourism, broadcasting rights. Where is that money going? Who's benefiting? Athletes are the product. They are the reason we watch, and yet they get the smallest slice of the pie. This is not just a Jamaican problem. It's a global sport issue. But Jamaica, as a nation with a rich legacy in track and field, must lead by example. It's time to, reform the entire compensation structure. That means base salaries for national athletes, long-term career planning, mental health support, pension systems, and yes, education programs for post-career transitions. It also means involving the public. Fans must be educated about the real lives of athletes, about the grind, about the bills, about the struggle. Let's stop idealizing them only when they win gold and start supporting them when they are struggling to eat. Because if we don't, we will lose them. Not to injury, not to retirement, but to countries that simply valued them more. Let's not wait until all our best athletes are running in other flags. Let's act now. Let's create a system that rewards loyalty, not just with applause, but with income. To the athletes who made the hard choice, we see you, we understand you. You are not traitors, you are survivors. And your story is a wake-up call to the rest of us. This isn't about patriotism, it's about justice. Well, guys, drop a comment below. Let me know what your thoughts are about this particular topic. Also, remember to subscribe, like, and share as well. And until next time, guys, bye-bye.